Well, we always like to ask our guests to reflect a little on the personal side for us. We're wondering if there's part of the story you'd like to share with us from your background, or sometimes I just ask for a personal habit or part of a daily routine. What would you like to share with us?
Well, Jack, I think I might be different in terms of my background than most of the CFO you've spoken to. Many people may not know that I only have a third grade education when I moved to the U.S. Because I was an immigrant. I was a refugee in Thailand, uh, born in Laos, and I escaped from Laos to Thailand, and under the refugee and immigrant rules. Spent 5 years in Thailand before I could get to the state, and during that time, I had no education. I had a third grade education from Laos. At the age of 15, I landed in Overland Park, Kansas, a suburb of Kansas City, and enrolled into high school as a freshman. I didn't, I had broken English. I didn't know true multiplication or division in math, but I managed to get straight A's first year. After that first year in high school, I was living with my sister and her husband and two kids of them. And they asked me if I would consider dropping out of high school so I can start working at the age of 16 to help pay bills. And my sister and my brother-in-law were, my guardian. They raised me from the age of 9 to 16. And I said, I'll do whatever you guys think, will help the family. I was planning to drop out of high school. And the Sanford, my last name today, Jim and Iris Sanford found out I was going to drop out of high school, took me out to dinner. And they said to me, we've seen your report card from the first year. You're too smart to drop out of school. So we'd like to invite you to come live with us. And you don't have to worry about where your next meal is going to come from or pay rent. We will send you to school. Needless to say, that moment changed my life forever.
Were they
I would not be
neighbors? Or
sitting here speaking with you today as a CFO had I dropped out of high school.
sorry, did you say their name was Jim and Ivy Sanford? Were they friends of the family, or what?
Jim and Iris Sanford.
Jim and Iris.
They were our landlord.
Ah,
We were renting an apartment from them. And well, Jim and Iris had 4 daughters, biological. And, here I am, a teenager in their house. All of their kids have already moved out. They were in their late 50s, I would think, at the time. And, who would take in a teenager from a foreign country into their home? They had the biggest hearts. Um, when after living with them for a year or so, they asked if I would consider taking their name because my, foster dad, Jim, was the only son, only kid in his family. The last name Sanford was gonna, and if no one takes it on, and he asked me if I would want to become a Sanford. And I, obviously couldn't say no. And he was a great storyteller. I wish I have a little bit of what he had. He was a minister at our church, and he always gave the best sermon on Sundays. But the one thing that he said to me that resonate too is that he said that the name has never been in jail, so make sure you don't mess it up. And I think I made him proud. He passed away about 11 years ago.
Oh wow! What a lovely story. Unusual. We don't always hear about people like that. Um, Originally, why Kansas? Why did your family land there? Family
So
members.
my brother-in-law had two older brothers. They escaped during the Vietnam War, and they immigrated to the U.S. and they just happened to land in Kansas City. And so then, the mission for us, I was 9 years old. I had another sister that was maybe 4 years older than me at the time, and then my sister who's married to my brother-in-law who was older. Um, the four of us walked across the border from Laos to Thailand, and we had to go through creeks and stream to avoid the landmine that were planted during the war. And I got to Thailand. It was the first time I saw a car. We hitchhiked, and I remembered my sister, my middle sister, threw up all over me because she got car sick. So that's how we got, the mission to come to the U.S. started then, but it took us a while, 5 years in the refugee camp in Thailand, like 4 years in Thailand and another year in the Philippines before we made it to the U.S. And Kansas City was the destination.
Wow. Well, we could do an entirely different podcast episode, but unfortunately, I doubt you have the time today for us.
Yeah, many people have said I should write a book about it, and I
Something
probably should.
amazing. That first year of high school for you, how you ever figured things out to get the grades you did, you just have to wonder how your mind was able to learn the language, understand the dynamics of the classroom culturally as well as you know organizationally. Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that, Svai. It's going to be a special episode certainly for us, so I appreciate it.